We all crave those deep, meaningful relationships in our lives. They are the sunshine that warms us, the laughter that fills our days, the safe harbor we return to when life gets stormy. But sometimes, without even realizing it, we allow shadows to creep into those precious connections. Today we're going to talk about one of those shadows, hate. It's a powerful emotion, one that can take root in our hearts and poison not just our own well-being, but the very essence of our relationships. We're going to explore how hate impacts our relationships and, more importantly, how we can choose love and understanding instead. Chapter 1. How Hate Creates Distance. Think about a time when you harbored resentment or anger towards someone. Didn't it feel like a wall rose up between you, brick by icy brick? That's what hate does. It creates emotional distance, making it harder to communicate openly and honestly. Suddenly, those shared jokes and heartfelt conversations become strained, replaced by awkward silences and unspoken tension. You might find yourself withdrawing, spending less time with the person you resent. Or maybe you lash out, your words laced with bitterness and anger. Either way, the connection weakens, starved of the nourishment it needs to thrive. We convince ourselves we're justified in our anger, that the other person deserves our coldness. But holding on to hate only hurts us in the end. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The bitterness festers within us, poisoning our own hearts and minds. But there's a better way. It starts with understanding the destructive power of hate and choosing to release its grip on our hearts. Chapter 2. How Hate Fuels Misunderstandings. Have you ever noticed how hate can twist our perception, making us see the worst in others? It's like looking through a distorted lens, where even the smallest actions are misinterpreted, blown out of proportion. Suddenly, a harmless comment becomes a personal attack. A simple misunderstanding spirals into a full-blown argument. We become hypersensitive, always on the lookout for any sign of disrespect or malice. This negativity bias, fueled by hate, creates a breeding ground for miscommunication. We jump to conclusions, make assumptions, and fail to give others the benefit of the doubt. And in the process, we miss out on opportunities for connection, for understanding, for resolution. Instead of approaching the situation with empathy and compassion, we allow hate to dictate our reactions, leading to further conflict and pain. But what if we could hit the pause button? What if, instead of reacting with anger and judgment, we took a moment to breathe, to listen, to try and see things from the other person's perspective? Sometimes a little understanding can go a long way in bridging the divide. Chapter 3. How Hate Erodes Trust. Trust is the bedrock of any strong relationship. It's the feeling of safety, knowing that you can rely on someone, that they have your back, that they'll be there for you no matter what. But hate, like a relentless tide, slowly erodes that foundation, leaving behind cracks of doubt and suspicion. When we hate someone, we question their motives, their intentions, their very character. We doubt their words, their actions, their ability to be there for us. This lack of trust can manifest in countless ways. We might withdraw emotionally, afraid to make ourselves vulnerable. We might become controlling or possessive, trying to maintain a sense of power in the relationship. Or we might resort to gossip and sabotage, seeking to undermine the person we hate. And as trust crumbles, so too does the foundation of the relationship. Communication breaks down, intimacy fades, and resentment festers. But it doesn't have to be this way. Just as hate can erode trust, love and understanding can rebuild it, brick by precious brick. Chapter 4. Hate's Impact on Mental Health and Relationships. Hate is a heavy burden to carry. It weighs us down, draining our energy and polluting our thoughts. When we allow hate to fester within us, it takes a toll not only on our emotional well-being, but also on our physical health. Studies have shown that chronic anger and hostility are linked to a higher risk of heart disease, stroke, and other health problems. This internal struggle inevitably spills over into our relationships. We become irritable, short-tempered, and quick to anger. We might lash out at loved ones, say hurtful things we don't mean, or withdraw emotionally, creating distance and resentment. It's important to remember that our mental and emotional health are intrinsically linked to the quality of our relationships. But by addressing the root causes of our anger and resentment, we can begin to heal ourselves from the inside out. This might involve seeking professional help, practicing mindfulness and self-compassion, or simply making a conscious effort to cultivate more positive emotions in our lives. Remember, healing is a journey, not a destination. Chapter 5. The Healing Power of Empathy. Imagine for a moment that you could step into the shoes of the person you hate, see the world through their eyes, feel their pain, understand their story. What if beneath the surface of their actions, you discovered a heart that's been broken, a spirit that's been crushed, a soul that's yearning for love and acceptance just like yours? Empathy. It's the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, to put ourselves in their place and see the world from their perspective. And it's one of the most powerful antidotes to hate. When we make an effort to understand where someone is coming from, to see the world through their eyes, it becomes much harder to hate them. We begin to recognize their humanity, their flaws, their vulnerabilities. We start to see them not as enemies, but as fellow travelers on this journey of life, each doing the best they can with the hand they've been dealt. This doesn't mean condoning their actions or excusing their behavior. It simply means choosing to see them as human beings worthy of compassion and understanding. And in that space of understanding, something remarkable happens. Walls begin to crumble, hearts begin to soften, and the possibility of forgiveness emerges. Chapter 6. Stories of Transformation. Over the years, I've had the privilege of speaking with countless individuals who've overcome extraordinary challenges, from the depths of addiction to the aftermath of unimaginable loss. And time again, I've witnessed the transformative power of forgiveness, the way it can heal old wounds and set us free from the shackles of the past. I think of the woman who, after years of estrangement, reached out to her estranged father, choosing to forgive him for the mistakes he'd made, or the man who, after losing his wife in a tragic accident, found the strength to forgive the drunk driver responsible for her death. These stories remind us that forgiveness is not a gift we give to others, but a gift we give to ourselves. It's a conscious choice to release the anger, the resentment, the pain that's been holding us back, preventing us from living full and meaningful lives. When we choose to forgive, we are not condoning the actions of others. We are simply choosing to let go of the past and move forward with our lives. We are choosing to break free from the cycle of anger and resentment, to reclaim our power, and to create a more peaceful and loving future for ourselves and those around us. I know that forgiveness can be a difficult and painful process, especially when we've been deeply hurt. Chapter 7. Practical Tips for Letting Go of Hate. So, how do we begin to let go of hate? How do we cultivate forgiveness and compassion in our hearts, even when it feels impossible? Here are a few practical tips that I've found helpful in my own life. First, acknowledge your feelings. Don't try to suppress or deny your anger and resentment. Allow yourself to feel it fully without judgment. Second, practice empathy. Try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. What might they be going through? What might have led them to act the way they did? Third, focus on the present moment. Dwelling on the past will only keep you stuck in a cycle of anger and resentment. Instead, try to focus your attention on the present moment and what you can do right now to create a more positive experience. Fourth, practice gratitude. Take some time each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for. This will help to shift your focus from negativity to positivity. Chapter 8. The Path to Connection. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the damaging effects of hate to the transformative power of empathy and forgiveness. But the most important takeaway is this: love is a choice. Every day, We have the opportunity to choose love over hate, understanding over judgment, forgiveness over resentment. And in making those choices, we not only heal our relationships, but also create a more peaceful and loving world. So I encourage you to take some time to reflect on your own relationships.